it's a mix about some ideas, and I try to put together the idea about creative leadership and generative AI, and it's a work in progress. I don't have any conclusions, so I just want to share some thoughts on what I've been learning so far. Just a quick introduction. My name is Jaakko. I'm a Brazilian. I'm based in São Paulo. Actually, I'm from Rio de Janeiro. I'm living in São Paulo, have been 14 years. Before I work at Ripple, was in charge of the experience design team. After that, I joined Accenture. I was in charge of PR in Latin America. After that, I joined DASA. DASA is the largest health provider, health provider in Latin America. And now I work in two different projects, as you can say. I work as a interim CSO in a design consultancy in Brazil. And I co-founded a startup that merged, which merged design thinking and generative AI in order to decrease the go-to-market from new products and new services. I'm gonna go through the startup a little bit because there's some ideas that I want to blend in this presentation. To set the mood, to present some context of and start to build upon that. To thrive today, leaders are required to take on disruptive forces with speed, confidence, and continuous innovation. That's a statement that's a fact actually. But when you look in terms about the corporate side, it's hard to innovate. Leaders, 6% of the executives are not satisfied with the innovation performance of their companies. 78% of the innovation portfolio are too dedicated to continuous innovation, not disruptive innovation that the market sometimes push the companies to do. 55% of the companies don't follow the innovation process, and 6% of the companies take a year or more to create new products and services. Okay, that's one thing that just to keep in mind about that. In the personal level, only 6% of the C-level executives say they really feel comfortable to embrace new business without any kind of hesitation. So it's hard to innovate in terms of about process in corporate level, and also it's hard to innovate in a personal level. So I'm gonna explore those two levels. I'm gonna split the presentation, talk about those two levels and how I'm seeing this connection between those concepts. So we can explore a little bit. But what drives the world today to be an ever-changing environment, to be this ever-changing business, to be this ever-changing life that we're living today? On one hand, we have this technology. Technology is any kind of process, technique, any kind of tools that you can build in order to achieve some goal. And you have the individuals with some ambitious expectations, needs. And when put together these technologies and these needs, that's the space you're going to create value. So technology is a sum of techniques, methods, tools, and processes used to individuals to achieve a goal. In the past, we used to use rocks and sticks to hunt, to defend ourselves, because that was the needs that we had in that period. And nowadays, just a number to have in mind, per quarter in the US, more than 70,000 startups have been created. Instead of using rocks and sticks, now we are creating business. And why we are creating so many business? Because, okay, maybe we have more expectation, we are more ambitious, we have more needs. And so in order to fulfill those needs, to fulfill those expectations, new business are being creating, new solutions are being creating all the time. And that's what we are living today. Why it's happening? Because in the end, as human beings, we are creative beings. We like to create. Create is the idea, not just to have an idea, but it's the concept just not to have an idea, but when you have an idea and you create a solution, meaning you put something new into the world. So that's the idea of to be creative. That's what is going on so far. But when you start to look at for the next year, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense when I look back what we did, what we are doing, how we are behaving as a humans, what's going to make sense in the next years. First, we're going to need a new kind of leaders that really can imagine projects and concepts in order to create new institutions and solutions. So we have created this world that we are living today, but we're going to need new kind of leaderships, new kind of leaders that really can reimagine what we are living, really can rethinking what we are, the way that we are living, really can rethink everything that surrounds us at some level. So that was the starting point for my MBA thesis. Just a very short presentation, just to understand. That's what I'm going to call chapter 1. So what I'm going to present right now. On the chapter 1, I try to understand, okay, what kind of leadership may I can study a little bit more in order to really try to understand how I can, if I have me as a designer, if I have to design a new leader, what kind of characteristics, how could be this new leader? How can I design this new leader? So the first insight that I knew a specific kind of people that was very comfortable being uncomfortable. And that was the people that I started to study. And who are they? There were in the period I like to call change makers. So a lot of creative people, a lot of designers, a lot of just people that wasn't happy with the life in their scene, in the way that the world was progressing. So the people was unhappy somehow with the current situation, and I started to study those kind of people. So that's on the period I call designers and designers like. So designers, because I found a lot of people with the design background with this kind of unhappy attitude, but I found a lot of people that different kind of background, of no background, with the same attitude, that is this unhappy attitude with the current situation. So I spoke with more than 100 people with this kind of behavior, spread in more than 100 organizations and over 20 nationalities. And also I made a lot of workshop and a lot of observation in more than 1,000 designers that see if this kind of ideas really match what I was seeing based on the conversation that I had with those people as well. In the end, I found that those people, they had three kind of attitudes. One that I call the craft attitude, the second one that I call the leap attitude, and combined they have this learning attitude. I think the learning attitude is pretty obvious. It's the capacity that you have to really to understand the surrounding, and based on that to make a reflection, and that the reflection create an action. That's the idea of learning I'm talking here. But when I'm talking about craft and leap, when I talk about leap, I'm talking about the lucidity. Okay, to be very clear about the mess that you are living today, and really make a question about common sense and really propose changes in terms about the environment. The capacity to envision or say, all right, if I can understand the mess that are living today and raise the right questions, I'm going to be able to create a vision. If I have a vision, I have to be able to make this vision actionable, to make this vision tangible, and also to aggregate multiple perspectives in order to make this vision as much inclusive as this vision can be. And the other attitude that I have is that the craft attitude. Those people understand they cannot make the change by themselves, so they have a very collaborative way of work. They are very resilient, so they really try a lot of times if they have to change the way they are doing. They have ownership and accountability about the thing they are trying to change. They have faith they're gonna do the best. And they have a transparency to say they don't have all the answers. They are just trying to do something new. So that's the two main attitudes that I found in those change makers or designers, or it doesn't matter the name. You have with the people really trying to make something, try to make the difference somehow. But it wasn't just about design attitudes. It was about creative expressions as well. And the creative expressions was about the way they read, practice, and express with the external world. So they have a lot of ideas, internal ideas, but the way they are interacting with the external world, meaning with the others, they use physical communication, digital communication, rituals, and ideas. So one example, one person that I was talking was a journalist, and he explained to me how the process he has to write an article. And the process was, okay, I go to someone. If I have a hypothesis, I speak with that person. The person giving a lot of ideas. I put this idea on my side. So I pick some insights from those ideas. I do a lot of desk research. Based on desk research, I start to have some conclusions, this pre-conclusion. I start to put on a document. In this document, and I have my first draft. I go to some people that are going to be critical to my work, and those people that really going to be pushing and pulling my work. Well, I'm going to start to have some discussion with those people, try to really sell my idea. If you see if my idea, I can really sell my idea, okay, I'm going to continue in that path, and I'm going to finish my article. If I see I cannot sell my idea, I have to come back. And I have to come back to do more research, to talking to my people and try to understand. So it's the same process when you try to create a new product. It's the same process you're doing. So the elements this journal have is ideas and words. So maybe it's a mix of bytes, atoms, and ideas a little bit more. But then when you talk about fashion design, is a lot of atoms, a lot of ideas. When you talk about create a new service, you're talking about services that rituals, and talk about bytes and atoms. So everything is a mix about those four kind of layers: atoms, bytes, rituals, and ideas. So that's where I learned it. I'm not going to go through this slide, but just an example. That was selected by Time Magazine in 2016, the 50 most influential gadgets for all times. So I make try to show how those gadgets work in atoms, ideas, and bytes, or just to prove the concepts a little bit, just to understand. But the most important, okay, if I have those attitudes, I have those expressions that are gonna influence the way I'm gonna behave, in the way I'm gonna behave with my direct team, and also with my first team, meaning with my peers as well, how I'm gonna work with them, and how I'm going to work with them to create something new. And what I learned, that I saw that was two different ways that the interaction going to happen in terms of how those leaders encourage the others and how those leaders engage others. I'm not talking about engagement. I'm talking about sometimes the way those leaders really have a spectacular craft, meaning the way I'm writing is impressive, the way I'm drawing is impressive, the way I'm presenting is impressive. So a lot of people get amused about this impressive way those leaders are doing, creating, expressing themselves in some level. So that's what I'm calling technical leaders. In the other hand, I have teammate leaders. So those people, they don't have this so impressive way of crafting so impressive crafting, but they are good teammates, meaning they can connect very well with the others, they can influence very well with the other, they can create partnership very well with the others. So that way you can engage others. So you can engage in doing very good in what you pretend to do, or can engage in just working very, very well with the others. And the other pillar that I saw was about the encouragement. The encouragement, they work in two levels as well. So inspiring. So what I saw, also a lot of example, those people, it's very easy to them to inspire others. So to make others to follow them, to follow their dreams, to follow their ideas, sometimes to take risks with them. So the idea to inspire others is very strong on those kind of people. But in the other hand, there are some people that are much more low profile, and they prefer to be more working in mentorship level than the sparring level as well. So not to be in front on the stage, but being in the backstage, mentor others to do the best. And you can ask yourself, okay, Jaakko, but I have to choose one of those four to work as a leader. No, I actually have to work on the four different kind of all the time. And depend on the challenge that you have. Sometimes you have to be more inspiring. Sometimes you have work more as a mentor. Sometimes you have more teammates, and sometimes to be more technical. And the key is to combine those four elements together. So that's more or less what I explained. But I put everything together. I created this kind of compass to understand what I'm calling this creative leadership. And I kind of come back with the compass after talk about the generative AI a little bit, and that's when I'm gonna finish my talk. But when you have this attitude, the leap attitude and the cracked attitude, you're gonna develop this learning attitude. This learning attitude is gonna be your future connector. You're gonna be prepared to embrace new technology, new idea, new concept, the change of the organization, the change of consumer behavior, etc. When you're aware about how is the best way you express yourself, you creatively express yourself, meaning, okay, I'm good on presentation, I'm good in as a designer, I'm going as a illustrator, I'm going as a whatever I'm good at, I'm going as a CFO, doesn't matter. If I'm good at math or not, so that's gonna be your creative connector with the other. So the way that you really create a connection, really create a common language with the other one. And the way the encouragement you're gonna use it to orchestrate the change. So understand that you're not gonna be the only person that's gonna be in charge of the change. You really have to orchestrate the change. Sometimes you have to lead the change. Sometimes you have to teach how to change. Sometimes you just have to see how that's gonna work or not. So in the end, you're gonna be orchestrating and see how the things are moving in which direction the things are moving, the pace the things are moving, etc., etc., etc. And the way you're gonna engage the others is about your results, your impact connection. So if you're creating value to the others, you're creating value to the business, you're creating the value for the person that you're working with you, for your team, for your peers, that way you're gonna engage in the end. And that could be, matter talk about creative value, could be money value, could be time value, could be knowledge value, doesn't matter, but creating value is something that really people say, okay, makes sense to be together with that person. Makes sense to take those risks. Makes sense to have this kind of efforts to work, etc., etc., etc. So in the end, that's what I call the compass for creative leadership. You have to balance those two sides in order to really to make the change, really to make the change. Okay, that was the end of chapter 1. Let's talk about chapter 2. Let's talk about generative AI. The other question that years I had a talk about if companies have problem to innovate, let's try to understand how I can help companies to innovate better. So I make the question to myself and to my partners. So how might we accelerate and apply the innovation process in the company? That was the question that we made ourselves based on the issue that I have on innovation process. That's when I created my startup, Genie. So Genie is the fusion between generative AI with the best practice design thinking, innovation process, and business growth. Generative AI is used today to create new content, is coding, is used today to create image like DALL-E, DaVinci, Midjourney, etc. It's create audio, it's create video. You have a lot of fake news talk about it. People worry about fake videos created by artificial intelligence. Years ago, some people created Benjamin. Benjamin was a creative director, a creative movie maker, AI creative director, AI creative movie maker. So there's a lot of years people are testing and see how AI really could be creative and not just repeat something that someone wrote before. So that's exactly what we are facing today. Generative AI start to become more creative, sometimes tripping too much in terms about generative AI. I don't know who is familiar using ChatGPT or Gemini. But if you test a little bit, you push a little bit those two AI, you're gonna see sometimes they trip too much, but sometimes good, sometimes not. But when it's good, it's not. That's more or less what we're trying to do. What we did, we took the innovation process from challenge to solution, and we amplified this innovation process, plugging AI on the process. So today, Genie is a co-pilot for a human to work in to accelerate the innovation process. So today is much more faster to do the research, much more faster to do the insights, the ideation, prototype. Just to give a number, the average time a huge company take from the idea to solution can take between 6 to 9 months to go, okay, I have opportunity, let's validate the solution in the market. With Genie, we are not taking 6 to 9 months, we are doing in 1 week, just to give you a number, just to understand a little bit how faster we are going using generative AI. So we're doing faster, more accurate, going early to the marketing, and have a more comprehensive way to understand the lateral thinking, meaning studying different industries, different solutions that you are trying to fulfill the same job to be done for the users. So, okay, that was the end of chapter 2. Now let's talk about now beyond and connect to idea, because the idea was not to sell Genie, but just to give a background how I got in generative AI. So that's why I'm been studying and working with on the last 8 months. I'm full focus on generative AI. There's a lot of studies. That's a McKinsey study that show that a lot of the profession that not use that was. It's until today we are not worried about to lose for AI. They're gonna be impacting some level. So there's community service, office support, manager, health professional, production work, food service, etc., 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 etc. So what's happening today? I like this graph from Kai-Fu Lee, a thinker about AI. He divided the use of a generative AI those 4 territories. There's one about the optimization and compassion. So if I don't need compassion, meaning I don't need a person say, oh, I'm going to take care of you, let me do this for you. And I need a lot of optimization, like a call center. AI going to dominate it totally. I don't need a human taking care of this. AI and the robot are going to be much more efficient than any human doing this kind of work. If I need some kind of level of compassion, I'm going to have a human taking care with AI supporting the decision. For example, I was working in DASA, as I mentioned, is a health company. The nurse, the health provider, the health employees in charge to take care of the health management of the patients. Today, actually, having 2 years ago, they are using a woman in a phone, but there is AI listening all the conversation between the nurse and the patient, and the AI is giving the best, is suggesting all the time the best medicines, the best treatment, and what should be the next step for the patient. In the end, the nurse have the decision. Okay, I'm going to use your suggestion or not, but that is an AI give you all the suggestion and taking all the notes to the appointment. Just to give an example, it's not the future about it, that's what's happening today. In the other hand, you're about to say, okay, I'm going to need more creativity and more strategy, and also going to need more compassion. Human going to dominate totally, and I have just small elements about an AI. And I have, and if I don't need compassion, human and AI gonna work together. So you're maybe gonna, okay, I have a given I give to you, AI give to me, I have like a ping pong to each other. Okay, that's a way of thinking. I like this way of thinking, but I want to add another way of thinking. Scott Hartley he has this book about fuzzy tech, and meaning about the summary about this book's about the disruption gonna help in manual and routine tasks. Very similar about the Kai-Fu Lee say, but the different that the Kai-Fu Lee say that maybe creative and strategic tasks is not so manual and routine. It's not so it's manual and routine tasks as you can imagine. And the next slide, I'm gonna show. I think totally different. But anyway, and there is another study from Korn Ferry say 50% of all employee will need reskilling by 2025. What kind of reskilling? A lot of reskilling gonna be on the routinary and the manual task for sure, but a lot of thinking tasks gonna need to be reskill about. That's what I'm believing. That's what I'm betting a little bit. Well, because when you talk about the creativity, when you have a zoom in the creativity, is a very routine, it's a routine and process manual. For example, when you have to research about the ideas, you have to do the screening. You have to create the interview questions. You have to do the interviews. You have to take the interview and process the interview and try to find insights. And after that, you have to prioritize these insights. So doesn't seem doesn't seem so manual, but all those tasks, when you go to in a zoom in, there is a lot of manual tasks going on all the time. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what Genie's covered. Genie is really trying to cover those manual actions. That's why we decreased so much of the time in terms to create the innovation process. And you're not doing it alone. There's a lot of people doing this. MIT is doing the same. So I suggest you to look for Superminds concept from MIT. So they're gonna go deep in what I'm trying to explain to you. Board of Innovation, they are talking about the same idea. So that's a common ground. So we have when you talk about to create something, you have a Midjourney, DALL-E, DaVinci. You have a lot of solution about this. It takes a Brazilian company that is young from CIT here, so we work in CIT. CIT is a Brazilian company, but they work globally. They created this solution, this flow solution. Really go to solution to that. When you have an idea, they are helping to speed up the solution process to implementation process. When you talk about growth market, you have HeyGen talk about video, Jasper content, Flix social, Threads e-commerce, growth bar. So working with SEO, it's just very, very few example. There is a site I suggest you to go through as well. That the name is there is an AI for that. Just go through that site. There is an AI for that. You can start to look. Oh, there is an AI for this. There is to do a presentation. There is an AI for that. So I suggest you to go through the site as well. You see a lot of solution growing about the use of AI. And today we are just talking about augmented innovation, meaning I'm still using the human power to innovate, adding artificial intelligence to augment the impact of innovation. Could be as we're doing a Genie to shrink the time of innovation. I can go deeper in some subjects in terms about innovation. That's the concept that the MIT is working. So I suggest to look at augmented innovation from MIT, Superminds from MIT, and read about what they are thinking. See the presentation they have. They have some papers about it as well. So I think it's very interesting to go through. But there's a lot of another person, the board of innovation. They are talking about autonomous innovation. When you see the Superminds innovation, you're gonna see very similar about the idea of autonomous innovation. So today at Genie, in Genie, I give all the direction to Genie. Tomorrow, the AI could be innovation by itself, meaning the AI can see opportunity, can start up innovation process, and can develop a new service and product, put on the market by itself alone. So that's the idea a little bit about autonomous innovation. So you don't need more to have this human direction, the human curation, but you have it, they're gonna be by itself. And there's another person, Brian Evergreen, talk about autonomous transformation. So if I have it today, I'm with innovation, tomorrow I'm gonna have the autonomous innovation, and when the AI is gonna start to make the own decision. If I have to make the improvement in this kind of service, if I have to create to launch a new product in this market because there is some need, I'm talking about autonomous transformation. because in the end, they're going to start to transformation in the business, they're going to transformation organization, transformation the market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's it. Actually, there is a lot of thinkers, they have this level, different levels of AI. I just split those 3 MIT Board of Innovation in Brian, because they are going deep on those 3 concepts that cover all the people are talking a little bit. I suggest you to go deeper. But in the end, just I'm going to the end, 2 slides or 3 slides more, just what is changing in terms about me as a leader, me as a creative. Until today, I was very focused on execution. How I was good in terms about execute my idea, to execute my research, to execute my insights, meaning execution. Now I have a very efficient executor, very cheap executor, very smart executor called AI. So I'm shifting from being just an executor to be a director, to be an editor, to be a curator. So that's becoming my main role somehow. Yes, there are a lot of bad things that AI is providing to me. AI is still a little lost. AI needs some guidance to go through. But if I give the right directions, if I help really be a very curator, if I know what I'm trying to take out from the AI could do magic somehow, because it really can bring you a lot of knowledge, because the capacity that the AI have to connect different kind of information, different kind of knowledge to create insights, to create this kind of interaction view, it's amazing. So when I look at this compass that I present to you before, I still believe this capacity to learn is essential. I still believe the encouragement you're gonna have to the others to create new is essential. I still believe that you really engage the others, really delivering value to the other is essential. But I'm not so sure about the creative expression place, because I don't know if I needed to be much a connector anymore, if I just need to be a curator, director, and an editor. And maybe I needed to work more as my influence, the way I'm gonna influence the others. But somehow influence is inside of the encouragement, engagement. So that's why I told it's a work in progress. But it's something that when I revisit this compass that I've been using until today with my teams, about to talk about leadership, how they can become a leaders, how they become a change makers. That's the place on the compass that AI really is taking place much better, much faster than me as a creative person. So for me today, that's the AI companion or autonomous AI domain. So I think in the way they're gonna express myself. Just to give a short example, 2 days ago, I was in a meeting. It was a very boring meeting. And during this meeting, I was just say, okay, I got it. Okay, I understand that. And during that meeting, I made using Genie 7 different market research with 300 synthetic users to help me to do a project that I'm in charge of for a telecommunication company. So for sure, I'm gonna go to the field later. But now I have some hypotheses, very well crafted hypotheses, and when I go to the field in 2 weeks, I go much more, much more deep and much more precise in what I try to understand in the end from the users. So there's several available technologies. Being a creative leader is about to have the right attitude. That's what I'm trying to show in this compass a little bit, and how we use the technology to amplify those attitudes. The last slide, AI may not replace all human jobs, but human using AI will perform those who do not.